to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Danny, I'm so happy to have you on my show.
I know. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. I've been watching it, and I've known you for such a long time now that it's cool to see you doing the show, to continue doing it.
It's cool to see all the things you're doing, and you surprised me with Shakespeare.
I like Shakespeare.
Well,
especially Shakespeare in Love. So,
exactly, but you're always behind the camera because you do so much.
Right.
And then going in front, how was that, like the transition between going on stage into like being behind the cameras to going on stage now, live?
Well, I started in theater actually. So when I was a kid, that's my mother shoved me into theater, you know, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm like probably 12 years old, and so she jumped me into, you know, community theater in my town in Bluefield, West Virginia. So in West Virginia, far away from
What was theater like over there? I bet it was a big deal, huh?
No, I mean, it's, you know, it's just community theater. It's like, you know, if you've ever seen, you know, any of those like waiting for Guffman, you know, it's kind of like that kind of thing where it's the small town theater and everybody's like, oh my gosh, everybody's in there.
Right,
so,
exactly. That's why I'm like, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I did that, and then, you know, I haven't done theater since I was probably in my like 20s, like early 20s, and everything became behind the scenes, behind the cameras, and shooting stuff and film. And so to jump back into theater was like, well, you know, it was just sort of like I really wanted to do. Plus, I'm writing a play. So this was kind of like me getting back into the headspace. So there's an ulterior motive to the whole thing.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
But, you know, this was just something I saw Shakespeare in Love auditions, and, you know, I've cast people from Good Company Players like all the time in Second Space Theater. So it was sort of like I've done so much in the film community that I'm like, well, I haven't done anything in the theater community.
That's true. Yeah, that makes sense. So now you have your hand dipped in everything.
Yeah, now I've done it all. Now it's time to leave. Bye, everybody. See you. No.
Well, what was the transition like? Do you feel like now, because you were behind the camera so much, you're like, oh, now I got this when I'm in front of it? Or is it still like, oh, now it's like, now you felt the actor like fright and all that? It's
still, well, especially since it's like, you know, when you go from film to theater, it's like, oh yeah, I got to get back in the mindset. Like a lot of my notes from the director, Lori Pisano, she's the director of Shakespeare in Love. And so it was a lot of like diction and volume. And so in film, you don't really have to worry too much about volume. You know, I don't have to speak up in film if I don't need to. But in theater, it's like, oh yeah, I forget, I've got to project. And a lot of the people that come, you know, to Shakespeare in Love, like it's like they want to be able to hear you, and there's all this stuff going on. There's music, there's dancing, there's movement. So it's like you got to project to like the person in the very back of the, you know, very back of the seats that is like, what's that? What are they saying? You know, so it's like I brought up a lot of older people that come see Shakespeare in Love, you know, like, which is good. I got to speak up for the older people in the background. For the little person way in the background in the far right seat that can't hear anything.
Man, I should get back into theater. That was the only time in my life people didn't tell me to be quiet.
Because you did theater, right?
Yeah, and my voice is so loud. People are always like, oh, that they can hear me, and it's like, I'm so obnoxious.
We can find Sparkles somewhere in a crowd. We will be able to pick out Sparkles' voice somewhere. Believe me, yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't have a problem with that. So is that kind of a problem for you? Would you have to emote?
At first, yeah, and then it was having to, well, it's also...
Well, because it's a dialect and it's loud.
It's a dialect and being loud. And it's like you want to also like be emotional in the scene, but you like try to be loud. So you're just like, you know, if you're trying to be emotional, be like, what do you say? And, you know, it's like hard to like...
Right.
You want to really get into the emotion. You're like, but you got to project. So it's like, well, how do I do that at the same time? I'm like, well, if Hugh Jackman and all these other people can do it, Kevin Kline can do it on stage. It's like, I can figure it out too.
Do you have to cry at all?
No.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't have to wail. I don't think anybody cries on stage. Someone probably cries somewhere, but I wasn't paying attention.
So how long was the rehearsal process?
It's really fast. Like, I'm kind of amazed. So my son actually is in Beauty and the Beast. So Beauty and the Beast Roger Rockes is about to close. There's a whole reason I'm bringing this up. So Roger Rockes is doing, he's never done theater before, ever, like at all. So how this whole thing started was I saw Shakespeare in Love's auditions, and I went and auditioned, and, you know, I got in. And then my son I said, hey, they're doing Beauty and the Beast. Do you want to be Chip? As a joke. And he's like, I'll do it. And I'm like, you've never done theater before. Like, you don't know the commitment involved in this. And so he did it. So for him, we have been working on this. So both me and him have been doing all this play stuff since September of last year. So September of last year.
That's
so we
a long time.
I think we auditioned in August. We got the play, both got cast, and then October he started his rehearsals. His show finally started November 10th, And then I would be taking him to every single rehearsal. And I stuck around for a little bit, and then Laurie was like, "Get out, we don't need you." And I'm like, "Sweet, I can go hang out at Starbucks and write." And then so his show's been on, but I've had to take him every single time. And then my rehearsal started at the end of November. And so now we just started like January 12th, well, January 6th was our opening night. So it's like we've been involved in this like since October of last year, and it's like, oh, but it's
That's
been
a
fun.
lot.
Yeah.
How old's your son?
He's only 8. And this is his first time like.
How's he doing? Is he going to get nervous, or is he doing really good?
He didn't. I mean, maybe he was nervous, but like he loves it. Like he was
Wow,
like,
that's
I mean,
really
he's
cool.
kind of like right now. He's like sick of it, because he's like,
yeah.
I need to take a break. But for him jumping into this and never having done it before, he's really been a trooper, So.
Fun. What a great experience.
It is. It's like the Cameron boys get to like jump into theater for a second. We're like, hey, everybody, we're in theater. And then we're like, we'll jump out.
What are you learning about Fresno theater that you didn't know that you find fascinating?
They're really dedicated. There's a lot of big audience for theater. Like I don't, I only cast people from there, and they've always done a good job. I think that's the one thing that's nice is when you want to get some good actors, you hire, not that we've cast you in things.
I agree.
But you also did theater too, so it's like
I've never seen a bad actor from Good Company Players, so I totally agree with you.
So it's like,
I
that's why
understand what you're saying.
Winsong, that's why Butler, that's why all these people, everybody hires from Good Company Players because you're going to get people who are dedicated to their craft, they're prepared, so.
Because you over prepare for theater, so it's like now then you come and polish,
So, but no, it's been really cool because there's a lot of cool people I've met. Everybody's very dedicated to the craft. Laurie Pisano is a really good director. She gives you really good notes that aren't just like blocking notes. Like it's like, walk over there. It's like she's actually giving you character notes, which to me as a director, that's really important. So I think everybody involved, Shakespeare in Love is a really good cast. Like we had an opening night, people loved it. And everybody's been really, like I've met a few people like, oh my, you were Lord Wessex, you were the bad guy in the thing. I'm like, yeah, I was. And they're like, well, you guys, the whole show was really good. And I was like, well, thank you. It's good.
What did you learn about Shakespeare even doing this, like getting into it? Because you were a Shakespeare fan.
I think Shakespeare in Love is just such a great script to begin with. Like the movie itself, I remember the movie back when it came out. It's so clever. It ties in everything from Shakespeare. And I studied Shakespeare in college, and I love Shakespeare's great. I mean, everything we still do is still Shakespearean, like all these movies.
You can equate a lot of things back to
There's still so many things you can point back to Shakespeare. But no, with this but it is fun to listen to it and remember how they wrote Shakespeare in Love was the same way Shakespeare wrote a play. There's hardly any direction in the script because the direction comes from the dialogue you're speaking. So you're able to do the action just based on the dialogue alone. So that's what's great about Shakespeare in general and Shakespeare in Love is that I don't think there's any action description, because in a script you write the action down, you go here, do this, or do whatever. Shakespeare, you don't have to, just the same way Shakespeare in Love. It's like the dialogue tells you what is going on. So it's cool.
What's the feedback you're getting from all the people that like drug their boyfriends? They're like, oh, Shakespeare, this is gonna be boring, this is gonna be long. So you got some of those coming. Right. What was the reaction you heard from some of them?
It's funny, we haven't heard any. We did have, there is a, apparently they're I guess on stage, because I'm not there, but there's a two males kissing because they're theater. So one of them is, dressed as, in Shakespearean times, it was all males on stage.
Right.
And so there's two guys kissing because that nobody cared, that was just to be in a play. But I guess they were saying, like, some people were like, oh, like some people were shocked. It was like, it's Shakespeare. Like, why are we, it's like, what are we even talking about? So I don't know. I think that was the only shocking thing that I've heard that's happened, which is like about as shocking as like, I don't know, Diet Coke. Like, I don't know.
You're calling me out on this.
I'm calling out the Diet. Like, that's about as shocking as it gets. Oh my gosh, drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. Like, it's not shocking at all. Like, who cares? Like, I don't know. It was just a funny.
The shocking part is I'm trying to hide it, but
the shocking part was like, that's shocking. I'm like, this is 2023, man. Like,
right.
What are you talking? That was 16th century when they used to do this all the time. Why is anybody even making a discussion about it?
Well, I know that people are like, oh, it's so long, because a lot of these plays are really long, and so I'm just wondering if the response is, because it's so good. I was like, are people they're like, oh, this is going to be long, and then they're like really entertained once they're there. You get a lot of that feedback, I'm sure, where it's like, wow, I didn't even know. This is cool. I appreciate Shakespeare more, because I think that's what happens when a lot of people see these plays now.
Right. I don't know. No one's said it. I mean, we've only ran 1 week, so I I don't think anybody's stated anything like that. But also, too, is I think most people, when they go to see the theater, they're there to be, a lot of people like already know what they're getting into. Plus, it's only 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, like it only runs from like 8 to 10, our show. And like you get there at 7:30, so it's only a 2-hour show. So it's the same time thing as watching 2 episodes of anything.
Well, that's
you know?
true.
So it goes pretty quick, and like, you know, I think mostly everybody's there from the theater.
That's true.
Like our big theater people, you know, and like I see a lot of like senior buses pull up and come out. Like that's kind of funny to think about, like because Fresno's such a big senior population, so it's like what a great. That's what I've seen with Beauty and the Beast. Seen tons of seniors coming out of the show, like little grannies in their little wheelies coming out. Oh, it's a great show, and it's so. There's a lot of good seniors coming to see the plays, but I see a lot of younger people too. So I'm not.
That's what I like about theater too. It's like all ages.
Yeah, you don't know
it.
who's going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I'm glad that you guys are doing this for the community. So what are some other projects that are coming up that we can see from Good Company players?
Well, I know I've got the Singing in the Rain's coming. I believe that's the next production. So Beauty and the Beast is finishing up this week. This is the last run.
So what,
of
can we
Beauty
see
and the Beast.
both? Can I go see Beauty and the Beast and then I can go
I think
see
it's
Shakespeare
sold.
in
Beauty
Love?
and the Beast has been like sold out every single time. Like even I had we were dumb and lazy. Like we didn't get my family in like early enough, so we had to like. Fortunately, everybody gets to go see it. But I was like, oh, there'll be a show, and I was like, holy crap.
Wow! So we need to really book this right away.
Yeah, but Singing in the Rain's going to open up January 12th through March 12th. Wait, January 12th. Yeah, that's already going to happen. Like so, yeah, that literally happens. Like yeah. So anyway. That opens up Friday, Singing in the Rain. Is it Friday?
So wait, these run parallel?
I guess they do.
How do they run parallel?
Maybe I'm wrong in this. Let's forget that information. So Singing in the Rain comes right after that. But yeah, Shakespeare in Love, and then I know they're doing Pride and Prejudice next. They're doing Little Mermaid in the summertime at Roger Rocca's. So that'd be cool.
Is your son going to return to be in that?
No. I already asked him. I said, "You want to do it?" He went, "No." I said, "Okay, well, you can play Flounder." And then he's like, "No." I'm like, "All right." He'll do it again. He wants to do something. So we'll see what he does. He wants to maybe join the junior company, or he'll get into it again.
So what else do you have going on? You're working on a lot of stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about the play you're writing?
Oh, me? Oh, my play? Yes, I will. No, so mine is actually all about these 2 court jesters that pretend to. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase. Mine is about 2 thieves that pretend to be court jesters that try to steal from the king. So it's all that's what the plot is about. But it's all ridiculous. It's all about. It's very much like The Court Jester with Danny Kaye, mixed in with a little bit of Monty Python, Mel Brooks. But my objective is for the play. Once we actually finish it up, get it written. Get it solid, then I want to perform it and put it on somewhere in Fresno. I'm not sure where, but run it for a couple of weeks. But then my objective is to turn it into a feature film. So at the end of the show, like when we get to near the end, is perform it in front of investors, like bring investors in and perform.
Get the response. I like that idea. That's
smart. But see, because the Marx Brothers used to do this, they would take their old shows on the road, their movies. So Irving Thalberg was a genius producer back in the day. He would take their shows on the road and they would perfect their performances, and then they would film that movie. They would film the show that they just did as a movie. And that's why you have the Marx Brothers, like some of the best stuff was when Irving Thalberg did that. And anyway.
That's really smart.
That's my plan.
Why don't more people do that? That seems really.
I feel like
that sounds like a no-brainer.
It does. I feel like it's a cool way to do it. Yeah, like I'm just ripping off the old guys. I'm just ripping them off. But to me, it's like what a fun way to perfect a play and figure it out. But it's a really fun play.
Yeah, and then you get the response too. Then you can really have the kinks worked out by the time you get that. That's really cool.
So that's my objective with this play. I don't, it's going to take a little bit, but I hope to finish up the play. Writing it by sometime this year, and then start to get the cast together. Maybe try to put on the play by the end of the year or beginning of next year. Is like putting on the play actually.
So you like to put that humor in there too.
Oh, big time! So much humor. It's ridiculous. Right now we're actually too much humor. Like we got to bring it down to be like, can you actually have a normal story? Like where I can hear what's we have too much humor. We my wife and I write together. So. That's
right. And then so you guys had some like projects out in the past. Tell us a little bit about those.
I mean, we've written a bunch of different scripts, and we've had, we've pitched it to different people, and they always like it. We worked on a script together that could be shot up in, Oakhurst area. But really, it's the hard thing about writing sometimes. I think that's why we want to do the play. Is like when you write a lot, you're always at the whim of producers. Where they're like, oh, we love it. But we're not going to do anything with it. So you just kind of get stuck. And it's been hard for me to film lately because, I've had kids left and right, like I've been working a lot.
Well, people always hire you to film, so you don't really get to film for fun.
I know. I don't get to
so
I need money, so I've got to do what I got to do. So the play thing was like, okay, I think I can put this on because I don't need much versus filming. You need like a lot more money, a lot more time. It's like there's still a lot of time and money with the play, but it's like at least with the play, I think I can control the situation. I'm willing to just do something simple for stage because technically the play could be performed anywhere. I could perform it here at CMAC.
Yeah,
like you literally, you don't. My objective is it's not about all the sets or the grandeur. It's about the performances. There's people that are willing to do that in Fresno, and then it's like then I can show that to investors with the actual play, and they can see it performed, and they're like, oh, I love it. So that's, will it work? I don't know, but at least it'll be a fun, creative experience.
That's awesome. No, that's really cool. So if anyone needs advice about they want to have a script to write, how do they get a hold of you?
They email me at thedannycameron@gmail.com.
Or you just tell them, no, it's hard. It's don't do it.
Yeah, if they want to pay me to write, my wife and I can totally.
Oh, that's right, because you'll write other people's. That's really cool.
Yeah, we've been paid to write other scripts, so
How does that work?
Just they know us that we write, and then we get hired, by random.
Does it go back and forth? Or where you're like, well, this is what I got now, and then they're like, and then here it is. Okay.
Yeah, we've been paid 3 times to write, so I'd like to get paid more to write, but right now, copywriting is my blood money. My blood money.
Do you like it? I mean, what if someone tells you we're going to pay you to write this, and you're like, no, I don't even like that idea. Can we do it this way? Does that happen or not really?
Usually we won't write it if that's the case.
Okay, so you have to have a common vision.
Yeah, if it's something we won't like, we're not going to touch. We're going to be like, that's not for us. Like I think we may have had that. We've had discussions with people before, and then we're like, we don't want to write that. So we'll pick something that we'll want to write. Be like, oh, we love that. Let's write that. So.
Right, and then right now you're still doing a lot of behind the scenes with filming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then if people want to hire you for that, they just go to your email address.
Yeah, or just Facebook me. Everybody seems to know me. I've worked with everybody in this town. Now that's why I'm a good company player. Now I've done it. I've worked with every different. I've done the film. I guess next is the radio, but I've already done that. I'm like, don't hire. I mean, I can do radio, but
you do have a good radio voice.
That was my first job. I worked at a radio station.
Wow, so you really have done it all. You were not lying.
It all.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. So how much longer do we have to see your play?
Oh, so our play just literally this
started last week.
This started last week on January 6th. It runs until February. Yeah.
So Valentine's Day, this is a good Valentine's Day weekend, right?
The perfect thing for Valentine's Day is come watch Lord Wessex try to get Lady Viola and take her to America for his sweet tobacco weed.
Well, I mean, it is so that is a great Valentine. I like the timing. I just correlated that. So it's Thursday through Saturday.
Thursday through Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday are the evening performances, and then Sunday is a matinee. And then you can go to Good Company, so gcplayers.com, and you can actually buy tickets online, or you can call the box office at Good Company Players, and they can hook you up with tickets. So yeah, I mean. It just started, so we've got a couple of weeks. So February 19th is the final performance.
So we got to get on this, though, because like you said, they might actually, they might sell out. That is crazy. I didn't even know that was happening. You said it was your son's play that was selling out.
Yeah, my son's play was selling out. But yeah, I mean, so far we've been packed, which is cool to see in the space. So it's probably, I'd say it was probably about like 50 to 60 people in there. That's probably what the limit is in there. I haven't counted seats, so.
Okay, well, we'll get on. I can't wait to see it, Danny. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's fun to be on Everything Sparkle.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more something.
Shakespeare in Love is about Shakespeare falling in love.
With love's light wings did I approach these walls. God, you're heavy.
So it's this delightful romance. It's funny and it's heartbreaking and it's hilarious and it's full of love of theater and humanity and creativity. It's a blast. I love it.
So I have the pleasure of not only playing Henslow, who is the kind of the Dan Pisano of Elizabethan England, I think. He's kind of a producer, a theater owner who's trying desperately to get his next play out and stay one step ahead of the creditors.
Oh, but this time it's by Shakespeare.
What's it called?
Romeo and Ethel the Pirate's Daughter.
But also the fight choreographer, because this play, based on the movie Shakespeare in Love, has a number of fight scenes in it that are instrumental to kind of moving the plot forwards. So I think the most important thing when we're trying to choreograph a fight scene is, first of all, to try to make it as realistic as possible. Really nothing that kind of breaks that whole, fourth wall quicker than to look at something that looks like it's obviously staged, and the actors really aren't putting their all into it. When we're choreographing these scenes, we start out at 25% speed, which is really slow and very deliberate, then at half speed so that there's a sense of energy that goes along with it. But we really never get any farther than maybe 75% of what would be real combat speed. And again, that's to make sure everybody's in control. It still looks fast, it still looks effective, it still looks exciting and dangerous, but everybody's safe.
May I begin, sir?
Your name?
Thomas Kent, sir. I would like to do a speech by writing that commands the heart of every player, sir.
Yes, I'm sure.
What light is light Sylvia did not see? What joy is joy if Sylvia did not buy?
It's a great story. It's got characters that people might recognize if they know anything about Shakespearean England. But I think also it's got all of the elements of a really good romantic comedy.
It's just a fantastic night. It's stimulating, it's exciting, it's thought-provoking. On another level, it's just pure entertainment. You'll just have a great time.
Thanks for coming on my show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sparkle. I really appreciate this opportunity.
So I love what you guys have going on, Free Trade. So explain to the viewers what Free Trade is.
So Free Trade is our new app that we just came out with in November of 2022. It is a bartering app, and we've also decided to add a selling portion to it as well, but that should be available within the app within like 3 weeks. We have our developers working on that.
Wow, that quickly?
Yeah, that quickly, within 3 weeks.
You guys move fast.
Right?
I love that.
And so yeah, in the beginning we were strictly making it just bartering, just trading, item for item or service for service, but we had some small businesses reach out to us, and they were saying if only we could promote our businesses somehow on there, post our inventory. So then that's why we decided to add the selling portion to it. But within the app, you'll be able to see trading versus selling. So then you'll see exactly what items are for trade only and then what items are for sell only.
I love this idea. So how far does it span? What's the reach of this?
So say if you wanted to trade locally within here in Fresno, you could put within the search option, put Fresno, and then you could do the range up to 100 miles out of Fresno. But you could search any city. It's available in all 50 states on iOS and Android. So yeah, so the search, it just depends off if you want to search within the city or search the item. You could also search, say you're looking for a pair of Nike shoes, you could search for that item and it'll show every city that it's in. So yeah, you could do vice versa, yeah.
So like, I'm a personal trainer. So if I wanted to get my nails done, can I put that in as a bartering service?
Yeah, you could do that. You could say, I always do this example because I have a lemon tree at home. If someone would offer to trim my lemon tree in exchange for a bag of lemons, or some people aren't fortunate enough to have a plate of food, so they could offer you, hey, I'll mow your lawn in exchange for a plate of food. It's just the way that people could help each other as a community. The way that free trade came up, like the actual idea and concept of it, was during the pandemic. And it was because a lot of people, at the time, toilet paper and hand sanitizer became luxuries.
Right.
And so a lot of people had a lot of hand sanitizer, and then a lot of people had a lot of toilet paper. And my mom and I, we were just kind of thinking, like, what could we do to where people could help each other? So it's like, with free trade, we could post our toilet paper, other people could post their hand sanitizer,
that was so
and
smart.
trade.
And I can't even believe that this wasn't even thought of before, because this is so smart. And this is like what we did back in the older days,
I was just gonna say, this is exactly how back in the day business was done. And I don't want people to think of the app as just solely business. It's to help each other, bargain with each other. Hey, I have this, I'll trade you for this, and not make it all about money. That's why we were kind of contemplating the selling portion, because we didn't want it to be about money. That makes a lot of sense.
And I could tell when you were talking about that hadn't come out. I was like, I know exactly what you wanted to, the goal of it.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because we all have something somebody else wants. Say one man's trash and another man's treasure. And it's like, it's really funny that when someone's like, well, I'd be willing to give you this for that. You'd be like, really? You'll give me that for this? And then it's just, we all help each other out like that. So I love that. And I bet we could just browse what you guys have going on, and then we'll figure out something we want too. Like, we might not have thought of that.
Yeah, and at the moment, because the app is so new, there's not a lot of content or inventory within the app. So we urge our future and current subscribers and downloaders to please post, because people get discouraged when they download the app and it's like, oh, there's nothing on there, so they don't use it. But as the bigger it gets, the more inventory. So as soon as you download it, just post whatever you have available to trade.
Okay, so how do we download it?
So if you have an iPhone, you can download it on the App Store. You search free trade.
Okay.
Sometimes some other stocks trade might come up on there.
That's what I would think. It's awesome that you guys kind of got this name.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is when I type in free trade, a couple options come up.
So so on Apple, you might have to do an exclamation. There it is.
Okay.
So on Apple,
so it's pretty much like the first one that comes up if you put free trade and the next. This is why we do this here.
Yeah.
So then I'm gonna get this.
And then if you have an Android, it'll just be free trade on the Google Play Store.
Well, nobody should have an Android. I'm getting a lot of slack heat for that one. Oh my goodness.
I personally don't like Androids. I've always been an Apple person.
That's funny. So you guys came out with this pretty much in 20. Oh, you said it's only been running since November, but when did you guys actually get this all
So we started working on it, I want to say beginning of middle of 2021. And then 2022 is when we finally were able to find a good developer and a good team to actually create the whole app.
That just seemed like so much work. You guys took a vision and idea and put it to use.
Yeah, we would literally design, pictures and say, hey, we want this, this, and this, and send them pictures instead of just saying, hey, we want this, because then it's better to visualize it.
So you and your mom brainstorming came up with this.
Yes.
And then what was the next step? How do you go and find like a team to help you like this?
Honestly, it was hard, but you kind of just have to reach out to people, and a lot of developers, they have stuff that they've already created or other apps that they've created, and then they'll send you their content and stuff, and then you decide upon yourself, okay, I trust this person to create my app. But it is a lot of work. It's a lot of money. A lot of money goes into building an app. And then the app is available for free to download, but within the app, if you want to start posting and start trading or selling, you have to pay $1.99 per month. But I mean, it's not bad because compared to other apps, they charge you 10% for each of your sell within the app.
So it's $24 a year.
Yeah.
Pretty much to
Yeah,
do. Okay.
to trade and sell whatever it is you need, and there's no other fees. There's no ads within the app. There's nothing like that. Yeah, there's no other little scams that we're gonna get you with or nothing like that. We don't sell your personal information or anything like that. So yeah, it's just $1.99 and you can post and trade and sell whenever you want all year long.
So you guys are here, you established this, and now it's national.
In Fresno. So it's available in all 50 states, and at the moment, because it is so new, we've just been trying to get people to know about it here in Fresno and then all throughout the Central Valley, and then hopefully little by little it'll start reaching other states. We have family in Florida that we've told the app about, they tell people, they try to market it out there as well. Same thing in Arkansas, we have family out there. So it's just little by little with whoever we can get, to market the app for us and stuff like that. But biggest thing is marketing. And I'm grateful to be here, Sparkle. Like, this is great, yeah.
So that's
I'm
like
really
another team that you're
excited.
building pretty much as a marketing team.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it all starts, is word of mouth. And I just think this is great. I really can't even believe we don't have anything like this, because this is very different. I mean, I know we have crazy stuff, but it's not like quite like that, where it's like bartering first.
Yeah, and that was our biggest thing was, not involving money, not making everything about money, and not a lot of people are going to be able to use this app. It might not be for them, but I feel like for the most of the country, to be honest, it would be like very beneficial for them just to trade, especially because a lot of people, an example is they sell their stuff to thrift stores for like pennies worth, where you could post it on free trade and trade it for something of the same value, or something that you're actually going to be able to put to use, rather than just getting $10 for a pair of shoes that you paid $60 for, you know what I mean? So that's another thing. And it's eco-friendly. You're not just throwing away all kinds of garbage that you consider garbage. Like you said, it might be someone else's treasure. So I tell my friends, if you have stuff in your garage that's just been sitting there, which most people do.
We all do.
I tell them, please just post it on free trade. Someone might say, hey, I want that, And who knows what you're going to find on free trade. You might not even be looking for an item like that, and you might be interested in it in the end, so.
Exactly. Okay, so we could put, we're kind of wanting to get rid of what we want to trade, and then we can also just browse what people are wanting to get and what.
Yeah, and then with services as well, if you're looking for a roofer, anything construction, people can start posting their businesses now and promote what they do as well. So that's why we added the selling portion. But you have both sides that you can work with free trade. So. And
that's why I love this, because I'm like a big time networker. I always know a guy who knows. I always like have something for someone with everything. So I like that we're actually kind of having an app that kind of does that. So like you said, a roofer, people need that.
It's another opportunity for small businesses to advertise their business and what they have to offer.
So what's some of the feedback you've been getting from users?
I mean, the only thing is that there's not a lot of content. That's what most people have been saying. But it's like we have to be patient with that. And I tell them, like, don't get discouraged. Like, there's going to be more, as the app keeps getting bigger, there's going to be way more stuff on there that you'll be able to trade with or sell or buy, or you can
what's
post
some
yourself.
Success stories you've heard? I'm sure some people have already traded up some stuff.
Within Fresno, yes.
So what
and
have you heard about that?
They like the fact that they could just meet really quickly in person, and it's like a trade. Like, they don't have to deal with like any like shipping or handling. That's another thing too. If you can't find, if you're looking for a certain item and it's not local, you can search within whatever city and check if they have it there. But yeah, there's been people that have said, oh, like, I've always loved bartering. I've always said, like, let's bring bartering back. Like, there's some people that actually have it as like a hobby, to trade, just to see what they could find, or like they make it fun,
Right,
like,
and I would think like with concert tickets and stuff like that, that could be another big thing that's gonna like.
Yeah, you could literally the items are endless on there. You can post literally anything. Like, I don't even know. Artists, you could post your paintings, try to sell them or trade them for another painting with another artist. With farmers, you can trade your produce with one another. You know, eggs are so expensive nowadays. You can post eggs on there and try to trade them for oranges or whatever you might
You
need.
could trade your
know?
pets if somebody has a litter of kittens, right?
Yes, you can trade your breed of pets, exactly.
This is so in town. Have you heard of any like success rates where someone said, "I did trade this for that and it worked out well"?
Yeah, there's been a few, not too many. There has been a few people that were like, "Hey, I saw this perfume and we traded it with I think it was like a shirt."
Oh, that's a good one
that.
because people get stuck with a lot of cologne they don't like or that they liked at the moment and they don't like anymore.
Yeah, I have some that I don't use and I posted them on there as well. So
I would think Chris's would have been great for this because we all had that gift that we didn't.
Yep.
So what have you heard about that?
So during Christmas, I feel like I think, to be honest, there hasn't been a lot of tradings going on just because there's not a lot of content, like I said.
But once,
so,
people put that because I think a lot of people would have.
I've only heard of like a few successful tradings from like my friends that I know, but there's some people that they subscribed but they haven't posted. So that's why I tell like everyone, please
so
post.
They're just a little looky because they're not like
exactly, yeah. So that's like the biggest thing. Just as soon as you download the app and you subscribe, just post, and post, and then.
And so now people can kind of put their content. So I guess I'm a personal trainer and like this service, that service, that service. If they don't have it, they just want training.
That'll
that's
be for the services you can post that already. But if you're wanting to post, say, your business on there, that'll be available within 3 weeks, and we'll let everyone know.
That's good. Yeah, because I could be like, because there might not be a person that wants to trade with me, and then I'll just have to like, well, it's still there. I still do it. So yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on the person, and then say like you have an item that they want, but they don't have anything that you would want to trade with. You guys could just bargain. Hey, I'll sell it to you for this much. Now, since we do have the selling portion. But if your item is only for trading, and you strictly just want to trade, you can let that person know.
I like that. I like that we got options.
Yeah, you have plenty of options within the app. But yeah, at first I was very skeptical about putting the selling portion because I wanted it to be strictly bartering. But I feel like it involves more of the like everyone in the community. So, and that's our biggest thing. Just we want everyone to help each other.
That's so awesome. I love what you're doing. This is great. And so, was there any concerns like in the beginning kind of about safety? Because with bartering, we're gonna have to meet up with these people.
Yeah.
And it is online and it gets a little bit, how does that work out?
That's another thing. So when you first download the app and you put all of your information in, it like sends you a one-time passcode to your email. So it kind of verifies your email to your name, and then you also do have to put your card in, so then it verifies your card.
Right.
So there's like this whole process that goes into it. And with any other app, we just encourage people to meet during the day. If you're going to trade something with someone, or if you're picking up something that you're buying or selling, vice versa, just meet during the day. And eventually we do want to add to each person's profile kind of like a rating that people could say, oh, like
like an Uber driver or something.
Yeah, something like that, to where like people could say, oh yeah, I did business with this person and it went well, or like if someone's like, you could also report the person, so the profile, to where if you have a bad experience with them, you can report them, and then we'll see on there exactly. And then with like posting illegal stuff, we have someone on our team that checks everything that's posted.
Perfect.
And so if you post something that you're not supposed to be posting, they'll send you a message, hey, like delete this, or
something you're not supposed to be selling.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll get a warning message basically. And if you don't delete that content, then we'll delete your whole profile basically.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we do have some things in mind to add to each person's profile, just so you could see on there, oh, okay, they're safe, It's not just a fake random person. But yeah, so.
And wow,
what
about babysitting? I get some people might be offering that for some stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that should probably be done within 3 weeks as well. There's a lot of little tweaks and stuff we've been doing on the app to make it better. And then we also do have a website called freetrade.today. And there's more videos on how to use the app on there and more about the app on there. And we also have a link to where you could like read more about my mom and I and a little recap of like our life and stuff and how we started with the app.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and then within the website, there's a little box at the bottom corner and you can ask any question. And we have someone, you know, answering whatever questions or some automatic, you know, simple questions.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, so if anyone ever has any questions about the app or they're confused about something or they have like suggestions, hey, you guys should do this or that.
I bet you get
could
flooded
post
with
in there.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I like that about the website. My mom and I actually designed it. We had someone else create our website and we liked ours better. But yeah, the website's really neat. And then yeah, so if anyone has any like troubles with the app, they could just ask us in the link below.
And how do we get a hold of you guys? I know we can do that directly, but what's some of the Instagrams we can follow you by and talk to you directly, well, especially locally?
Instagram, we have an Instagram and TikTok, and I believe they're both Free Trade Today. And
okay, so Free Trade Today. Okay.
Yeah, Free Trade, because Free Trade by itself was already taken, so we just did
I
Free
was
Trade
surprised
Today.
how easy you had it on the app. That was awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Free Trade Today on Instagram, and I think Facebook as well. I'd have to double check Facebook, but for sure Instagram and TikTok, it's Free Trade Today.
Well, that is something we all need to get. I mean, I love the concept. I really hope that this takes off the way it's supposed to because this is really cool. And thank you and your mom for starting this for us.
Thank you so much. We're so excited. We cannot wait. Hey, one day you're going to be like, I met with a free trade owner.
I feel like that right now. I can't wait. And thank you for the beanie. Hey, if we want to get some free trade clothes, where do we go to? Is there any available on the site?
I mean, we could put them on the site. That would be a good idea, putting some free trade merch.
But no one's going to get this hat because it's mine.
No, it's just Sparkles. It's just yours.
Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Magik Miles. When I first got started in magic, I came across a stranger when I was young. He was doing coin tricks, and he had this coin, and just a simple little wave, and the coin was gone. I couldn't believe it. I asked him if he could show me, and when he asked for my dollar, he turned it into a coin and said to go home and practice, and it would take time, because the hand is quicker than the eye. But when I went home, I could do everything he could. I could teleport it. I could make it float up. Again, with sleeves rolled up, I could turn it into a gecko. We'll put him back. I wish I could thank that stranger. Wait. Well, wherever he is, thank you.
I'm so happy to have you on my show today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
This is so cool. You're actually the first magician I've ever had.
I'm so fortunate.
We've done this for like 4 years, so I'm really excited that where can I see you around town perform?
Well, you know, I have a website. I perform all over the valley. Just whoever calls me, I answer the call.
So you do like private parties and stuff?
Yeah, private parties, corporate events, your birthdays. I'll do weddings, table hopping.
So it's not like you're ever at a place and I can buy tickets and see you perform. It's not like that.
Not necessarily. I do more like private shows, private things. So I mean, eventually I want to break into that realm, but I'm pretty much stuck in close up right now.
What is the Fresno magician scene like? I really don't know. That's why I'm really happy to have you here because you can tell me all about it.
Yeah, we have like a magic club. There's a lot of, every magician in the valley knows each other. We're all pretty close, tight knit, and yeah, if you're interested in magic, that's another way to get into it. It's the Magic Club.
But there's nowhere that people can go and see, like in Vegas, we go to like magic shows. They don't have a place that we can like a nightclub where you have like an event and people can go and watch your magic.
No, unfortunately, magic isn't so prominent in the Valley, but that could change, right? In time.
I like new things, so I think we should have more of that going on.
I think we should too. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come on too, was to like bring that outreach and awareness to, hey, there's magicians to hire.
Right.
So,
how long have you been doing magic?
I started when I was 10, and I kind of lost it into other things and picked it up as an adult later on.
So you had the magic kit, the whole.
Yeah. And it's funny because as an adult, I remembered how to do everything in that magic kit, and fooling my friends, my family, and just enjoyed the reactions, and just picked it up again. It's like riding a bike, I guess. Yeah.
Do you guys share your secrets? They say a magician never shares it. Do you?
Some things.
With a crowd, with your club, do you guys do that?
Yeah. It's like an open thing where people are trying to help you out, make your performances better. I mean, obviously, some things you keep to yourself. You pick and choose. Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that. So then there's an actual place, like, where do we go to hire you?
I'm on Yelp, Entertainers Worldwide. Just type in Magician Fresno, right?
Really?
And then,
okay. This is I'm learning something.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that people forget about, I think, when they think of a party or an event. So, yeah.
Or then people probably think a lot of it for children. They don't think about, let's have it at an adult party.
I think that has something to do with it, but, magic can be just as powerful for adults.
Sometimes more.
Yeah,
I think so.
Absolutely. It's just people think they've seen everything on TV. That's the problem. But, like me, for example, I'm always trying to do something new and different. So most of the time when you see me perform, you're going to probably see something different.
Well, I think seeing it live is very different, because on TV you still always wonder if they've tampered with it, you know what I mean? Because you can make anything happen on TV. So that's why I like to see it live, because then you're like, wait, where did it go? Like, I'm right here. You know what I mean? It's like more impressive. Yeah.
The close-up, it's more intimate. It just hits better, than on TV. People say that to me all the time when I perform close-up. It's just different being there,
So you're going to audition for America's Got Talent?
Yes, I am. I have, I'm just finishing the act, you could say, on the 28th. I'll have my virtual interview, and I'll start the process, and we'll see how far I get, right?
And you have to have a lot of tricks in your bag, right? I mean, is there a time where it's like, okay, I've seen everything you can do, that's it? Or are you always learning and perfecting your craft?
I think it deals with creativity. Like, certain methods are the same for certain things. There's only a handful of ways to make something levitate, per se. Or, so whenever you think of doing, there's a method list you can hit on how am I going to do this.
So you can make me levitate?
I could. I don't think we're going to do that today. I levitated a child the other night. He didn't come back down. So, that wasn't the best. So tonight I'm going to keep it simple, right?
We should have brought one of Drew's cats. We should have levitated that. That would have been fun.
I've tried to levitate a cat.
How did that go?
Not well, yeah. They're pretty feisty, yeah. They don't cooperate. I don't know. Bad assistance.
So, how do you saw somebody in half?
Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal, even though it's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple?
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to.
Do you have the whole kit for that?
You're gonna need some big stage props.
You don't have the big coffin where you cut people out.
I have a guillotine at home. I have a tip over trunk. I have some things that are like that. I don't have that one. That's way old school.
So is that not even exciting anymore?
I don't know. It's just one of those things to me people have seen, so I try and keep it fresh.
I still don't even know how it's done.
Oh, the thing is about magic, if you're too busy trying to figure it out, when you figure it out, it's takes it away from it,
So now that you can Google everything these days, are a lot of things Googleable, like how to do these tricks?
Yeah, unfortunately. That's why I try and create, because that way, people won't know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, and the method's not as obvious. Yeah.
See, you could pull anything on me. I wouldn't even know. I've never even looked up any of that. But
really?
I think it's exciting. When I see magic, I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just never, that's why it's I'm really happy that you're here, because I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. Pulling a rabbit out of a hat, like where do you keep the bunnies? You keep the bunnies somewhere because you have to go.
Yeah, you don't want to know where that bunny goes.
But like these are just so many props that I have like questions. What can you tell us about some of these? Like,
I can tell you it takes a lot of work and time on some things, especially like the sleight of hand stuff. It's a true art. Everything's different. I mean, you can see a bunny being produced, and that's just one method. There's so many different types, so you will never really know, exactly how it's done, unless you know. But mostly, it's hard to figure out, kind of.
how long have you been performing where like people can hire you and you've got? How long have you been doing that?
I've been professional for 3 years, and I've been doing really well this last year. I started picking up, and so yeah, it's been good. It's a little hard to be a magician in the Valley, I'll be honest with you, but.
Why is that? Because I wouldn't imagine you'd have a lot of competition.
I feel like in LA, San Francisco areas, Las Vegas, like it's just more abundant type of entertainment, needed. Out here, it's just people don't hire magicians as much. I feel like, maybe they'll start.
Probably just because they didn't know about it. Like if someone told me, hey, do you want to have this, and then someone threw out a magician, I'd be intrigued. I'd be like, okay, I didn't think about that. But now that you say that, yeah, let's have one.
Oh yeah, and then COVID hit, and that really messed up the business, and I think people's kind of thought process on hiring people.
Right.
And so I'm waiting for all that to come kick back in. Hey, we do things, we hire people again, stuff like that. So that'd be better for me. And it's a process though, creating acts like that. I have one act. It took me 2.5 years just for 2 minutes of a presentation. So.
Wow, that'd be really frustrating. I wouldn't even have the patience for that. So you must have a lot of patience.
Yeah, obsessiveness. You just get really into it, and then you gotta have that kind of passion to do magic.
So have you ever had something not go as planned?
Oh, all the time. But I always say that's what makes a magician is handling your mess ups in the middle of a show or performance. Is how well do you deal with that? That's what really makes you a magician.
Kind of once in a while, it still kind of happens.
It gets less and far and few between. As you get better, you learn what works, what you're good at, so the failing is a little less and less. Like you perform, like for hired paid gigs, I only perform things that are foolproof, stuff I won't mess up, stuff that, pretty secure on.
So, and you don't have to say your price. What's the average price for a magician for like an hour? Is it an hourly thing? Is it like for the night? How do people book magicians?
It all depends on the amount of people, the gig. It depends if it's like, is this a kid's party? Is this a wedding? Is this a large corporate event for like, maybe the Girl Scouts of America? You got a huge, thing. So it really depends on the pricing in terms of, what you have to deal with. But, a standard kids party can range from like $250, $300, something like that.
Wow. And so can we book you from your Instagram? What's your Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah, just go to Magik Miles, Magic with a K, and then Miles. And yeah, you'll find me. I'm not too hard to find. I'm on TikTok too. I always mess around on there and, show off little things.
Oh, so that's great. So we can follow you, like you kind of do like a trick of the week?
Yeah, sometimes it's hit or miss for me. I'm getting on the TikTok, but yeah, every now and then I'll put out something fun. I'm just not like an act or a trick, just something I'm working on, just a little visual something. Yeah.
And do people ever ask you questions like, I've seen this, how does this work? And you're like, oh, I don't know. Do people throw some different magic at you that you're kind of like? I try and not tell too much because I feel like that's the detriment in our art. It's is the abundance of information on it, and I don't want to say it's a dying art, but it makes the art harder the more people are aware, the more information that's out there. Because magic used to be a very secretive art where no one told anything. So then when they saw it, they were just like, like, whoa, and there was no way of figuring it out. But now there's so much open stuff, especially YouTube, that it's changed things a little bit. So I try and keep that old way of thinking, I guess. And speaking of the old ways, we used to have like magician's assistants. Do we have that anymore? You don't have that?
Yeah, we sometimes, it depends on the show. Like if I had a stage show, which is rare, I've done literally one little stage type of thing. It's not even that big. But yeah, you would need an assistant, and you can always call your buddy, right? So
you have people like that.
Yeah, and I know people. I could find somebody, if I needed it. Yeah.
And you guys ever do magic together, like two magicians doing magic together?
That'd be cool, right? Like, oh my gosh, two guys doing sleight of hand, but it, was working together in a single act. That would be sweet. You just gave me an idea.
Are you gonna make me disappear?
I don't know. I mean, you know, that would kind of ruin the show. You know, what if I couldn't bring you back, right?
That'd be funny. So do people ask, like, especially when you get kids, do they ask for like some weird requests?
Yeah. You know what's funny? I always take requests during my show. I'm like, hey, what do you guys want to see? Because like a levitate, like, do you want to see a levitation, a production, vanish? Because I do it all on my show already. Like, you want to see an animal produced? You want to see it? You know?
You didn't ask me any of that.
Yeah. Well, you're not a kid show. It's not a kid show, so it's a little different. No. I love to do that and then do it for them because it's like we told him to do that and he did it. So if you can do it on the fly, that's just more powerful, right?
So when you go on America's Got Talent, can we vote you in, or how does that work? How can we like support you and be like, hey?
I think it's a judges-based competition, and you know, you talk with producers and stuff, and I'm sure like you don't go on right away and meet like Simon, you know, and all of them. You gotta go through the channels of the producers or whatever, and then.
So we should all follow you on Instagram, maybe get your social media, so then everyone's like, hey.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Let's all do that. We got it. Like, yeah, we love having someone from Fresno on America's Got Talent.
Heck yeah, follow my journey. It's gonna be good. Yeah, in time. Yeah.
In time. And then we also go there to book you. What's one of the craziest shows you've ever done? I'm sure you did something you did not expect at some point.
You know, yeah, like this, like a specific instance you're talking about?
Yeah, or just an event that you're like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting events. Every event has like its challenges with like setup or like what you're gonna do, you know. But sometimes funny things happen in shows. Like I was doing I don't do mentalism anymore. So yeah, I stick to just straight visual magic.
Okay.
Like what you expect magic to be like.
Okay.
So I try and stick away from the things going here, or I do a little bit of that, but it's like it's more visual for me. And I remember I was back like in my earlier shows, I was doing mentalism, and I read the coin, which hand it's in, right? A girl put her hands behind their back, put the coin in one of the hands, put it forward, and I would guess the coin. And this girl was kind of being like a little heckler, she was being tough on me, And I'm pretty good at reading which hand the coin's in, or like just by your body language, I can determine like what you put it in, right? But she wasn't giving, it was just all off. It was weird. Like the first one I got it, but then the second one I was just like, what? It's the funniest thing. I was like, I just feel like it's not in that hand, it's not in that. I'm getting like mixed signals. Is that what you do to all the guys, And then she laughed, and then I said, you didn't put it in your pocket. I just said that just to be funny.
And she put it in her pocket.
She literally reached back, pulls it out of her pocket, and then everybody just goes crazy, like, how did he know that?
Wow.
And I got lucky,
That is so funny.
But sometimes like things like that happen, and it's like real magic. It feels like, yeah. So little things will happen like that, kind of, make it cool, interesting.
So all the events you do are pretty much normal, like because sometimes you could do something like I didn't even know we had an event like that in town or whatever. Or
I do a lot of close-up stuff, like table hopping. You perform for 8 people here. Next thing you know, at another table with like 7, or just.
Oh, that's really cool. So it could be a big event, but you're doing it in little groups.
Yeah, like think about a wedding or stuff like that. Even like a lot of corporate things are like people standing in little groups, or tables or whatever. So you kind of bounce around, which is really nice. And then everybody gets that close-up magic.
Do you ever have a booth where people can go see you perform, like a booth at like the fair, or like a Comic-Con or something?
No. I'd like to get on the fair circuit. There's guys that just do that in magic. They just work the fairs, and so. Yeah, but I'm still early on in my career. Like I got into it late, so.
So what were you doing before this? What was your day job before?
I was a park ranger for 7 years. I did that. It's kind of a.
Did you pull magic out when you were doing that? That would be fun.
I wasn't even a magician when I did the park ranger stuff.
Because I was like, that would have been fun.
Yeah. And then I'm a salesman too. I've sold, for various places.
That comes in handy, being a magician.
Yeah, a little bit, But I'm hoping to eventually magic will be my full-time job, and I can just stick to the magic. So.
Well, thanks for coming on my show. Are you going to do anything to me, or is it like...
Yeah.
Can you put like diamonds just appear on my fingers and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean,
where's the ruby? Where's the ruby?
That's an interesting request. Let's see. Do you think I could borrow your ring?
This ring? Oh my gosh!
Is that like is that a little taboo?
You can, but it's really hard to get off. Hello.
Oh my gosh, that's tight.
That's a lot. I didn't think you were going to ask for something that was going to be real. I thought you were going to put a diamond on me, not take one from me. That was the whole point.
Is this a wedding ring?
No.
Okay,
it's
good.
on my right hand.
Good, because I tend to lose wedding rings.
Well, you better not lose that one.
So here, we'll go right here. This is kind of hard to bend. We'll just vanish it.
You can't take an Armenian girl's ring. You gotta make that back.
I'm an Armenian guy. It's fine, right?
Okay, you're gonna make it come back on me with more diamonds, right?
Well, it's got to go somewhere, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you see where it went?
I didn't see where it went.
You didn't? No. I'm pretty quick, huh?
You're very quick.
Yeah, that's what all the girls say.
No.
Okay, so look, sleeves rolled up, right? But in my back of my keys is where I always keep your ring attached. And that's for you.
Oh, look at that. And there's the same amount of diamonds. I was hoping you were supposed to add it bigger. That was the deal.
I took one.
That was pretty swift. Man, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah?
So now I need to go back and look at it.
So you probably don't have a quarter on you, do you?
No.
That's okay. Yeah, I got one. Here, do me a favor. So sign this quarter.
Sign it?
Yeah, with your name. That way I get the sparkle autograph. And then hand it back? Okay. So, I'll take that, just so you don't dry out my Sharpie, because it's already getting dry. Did you see that? So.
I don't like drying out your Sharpies.
Let's see here. Yeah, you can kind of make it flimsy, hold on. Here. Yeah, there it goes.
You bent it.
Is that what? Well, I tried to do the ring, but you know what I mean? The quarter's a little easier.
Wow. How do you bend a quarter?
Magic. Very well, right?
But it still has my initials on it.
Yeah, because that's your quarter.
Can you bend it back?
Why would I do that? This is a souvenir for you to keep forever, so you can remember the time you hung out with Magik Miles.
I remember the time. Thank you so much for coming on my show, Miles.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm glad I could be here.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a